Hello, everyone. Welcome to this masterclass, a divination reading for 2024 by yours truly, Shaunga Tagore of Otherworldly Giants. Um, so this is a divination reading, and I'm doing it a little bit differently than, if I've been doing, I've done divination readings for the collective a lot in the past. But this time I wanted to do, I'm calling it a master class because I want it to be a little bit different than me just like um, kind of pulling out cards and telling you the reading. I want it to be a little bit more of a full-bodied experience. Um, and Yeah, so we're gonna start with grounding, and we're gonna start with, and we're gonna end with a little release, just so it can be, um, yeah, a more kind of full-bodied exchange between us. And that is just kind of recognizing that when I channel and when I do these divination readings, I'm really connecting to really old ancestors, ancient beings, star relatives, even primordial energies, and they're really old and they're really revolutionary and they're really benevolent and they have just a deep desire to help us um, through these really, really difficult times. But, because they're so old, I don't want to just like send them to you. It's a much better experience if we can create an environment for you to receive that more safely and for me to be more safe in sharing it. So, yeah, I wanted to create that experience for us. So, we're going to start with some grounding to enter into this reading, which my intention is to look at kind of where we are now at the end of 2023 as a collective from an ancestral and energetic perspective, and get some guidance on this moment. And also as we kind of look forward to 2024. So let's start with some breathing, okay? So, just wherever you are, get comfortable, um, and feel free to close your eyes. Just take this kind of time to reconnect with your body, invite your spirit and your energy to come back to your body. And so we're going to take 6 deep breaths. And as you take these deep breaths, I want you to imagine as you um, breathe out, you see your energy going all the way down into the earth and through the layers of the earth and right down beneath you to the earth's core and your connection and your root here and your right to be here um, as yourself on the planet this time, in this time and place in history. And as you breathe in, then you see that breath going all the way up through the sky into space, and it um, touches your north star, your personal guiding light, your personal north star, and it's right above you. It's just right above you. So as you take these 6 deep breaths in and out, I want you to kind of imagine your breath reaching the core of the earth, reaching your north star, and then coming back in through your body. And as you breathe, um, we can let go of everything we don't need, let go of stress that we don't have to hold on to in this exact moment, and call our energy back to ourselves. So, okay, we'll start. Deep breath in and out. Root deep into the earth and in, up to the North Star and out. Another breath. Release everything you don't need. And another one. Everything that is not yours to carry, let it go. Call your energy back to yourself. Again, all parts of you come home. All parts of you come home. One more. And let it out. And just keep breathing in that space. And we're just going to call in beautiful, strong energies of support, protection, our most benevolent and highest guidance, our ancestors, loved ones, beloved relations who are really on our side, really there for us, really have our back. Just call them in. And know that they are protecting this exchange. They are protecting you. They are protecting me and us and our sharing and our listening together. Okay. One more breath for the win. Take a drink of water. Six, 3, 8, that's my number. Okay, so this divination reading, I want to, just to kind of clarify what I'm doing here, I'm utilizing an ancestral technology that I'm calling quantum whispering. So essentially, I have the ability to communicate with anything and everything in the multiverse that has an energy or an essence. That's where quantum whispering comes from. So, it encompasses ancestral communication, mediumship, past life, alternate timeline communication. I can communicate with any living being, rocks, trees, water, who I consider our ancestors as well. And yeah, and so, you probably have an idea of what like an animal whisperer is. So this is like a similar idea. It's just quantum whispering. And at Otherworldly Giants, my company, which is my baby, my business, my world that I'm co-creating with my ancestors, we utilize this technology called open heart surgery storytelling. And that's really the foundation, the beautiful driving life force behind this world that I'm birthing. That is, it's a creation company, a storytelling school, and a divination channel. So we use this technology called open heart surgery storytelling. And quantum whispering is, a very central and foundational part of that technology. And what this technology also does is it's a form of energy healing, right? So open heart surgery storytelling, we use it a lot with stories, right? So we open up stories. We use it to study stories and also to create our own. So in my practice as a theater artist, for example, a ritual theater artist, this is a technology we use to create our stories, and specifically storytelling that is ancestrally guided. But open heart surgery storytelling can also be used to look at life and to look at the times that we're in, and how to understand ourselves personally and as collectives. So that's what that's kind of what I'm utilizing to do this divination reading. So, and as a form of energy healing, right? When we open up a story, when we open up something, we see the wounds, right? We see what needs repair, and we also have, in this technology, the strategy and the tools and the pathway of like, how do you actually understand this wound and how do you heal it and repair it and what is possible now and what's the next step. So all of that is here. So that's kind of what I want to do. And of course, as open heart surgery storytelling, we're looking at the heart, right? We're looking at the landscape of the heart. So that's where I wanted to start with in this masterclass. Like, let's look at where's the heart? What's happening with the heart? What's the landscape of the collective heart at the end of 2023? And so what I tuned into this before I press record. And so what I saw when I'm looking at the collective heart, what it looks like is a live wire, right? You know, like an open electric current, and just it's sizzling, right? And as a, it's a bunch of wires actually. It's interesting. It looks like a flower bouquet, right? So there's lots of open wires. Um, there's a bunch of them, and they're all different colors, very bright colors, very beautiful colors, but they're kind of all wrapped together like a flower bouquet. And that tells me that um, there's a lot of different open live wires, but they all kind of have the same root. That's what that tells me. And so this wire, it's like, it's just basically doing this, right? It's, um, and then what I see is, well, so this live wire, it's like, it's dangerous to touch. It's raw. It's like an open, exposed wound. You know, it's very painful. It's just like and on the surface it looks like it's volatile. It is. And it, when you look at it, it's kind of like, oh, that's all anger, that's all rage, that's all outrage, it's all but when I'm feeling into the energy of it, it's there's so much grief. There's just so much grief and so much despair. Like, it feels more like grief and despair to me than it feels like anything else. So this is the heart, right? And and really, when I look at like the root of who this is, it's something that is just really old and that has been so disrespected. Just so disrespected. Um, so much, it's been in so much pain and it's been so overlooked for so long. It's been ignored, intentionally so and also unintentionally so. And it's really felt unwelcome in its own body. And it feels like something that, you know, hasn't been seen for such a long time. And now it's all out in the open. So, of course, you know, this is resonant with everything that we're seeing, not just in Palestine, but in the Congo, in Sudan, in so many places that have been experiencing like so much injustice for so long. And it's now that the world is finally seeing it and it's impossible not to see. Um, and it's just like that part of the body that has felt unwelcome so for so long in its own land, you know, and has been really disrespected. Um, and so what I see too is, so the live wire is going off, right? And there's support. There's um, beings around. I feel like they're figures dressed in white. They're water bearers. They're peace bearers and they're water bearers. Bearers. It's a hard word to say. Bearers. Bearers. Peace bearers and water bearers. They're dressed in white. They have water. They have life. They have sustenance. They have reparations. Um, they have regret, but not in the low self-esteem kind of regret. They have like genuine, I don't even want to say apologies because it's not apologies. It's genuine reparations and regrets and willingness to make things right with you, with this part of the body. But like they can't, they're trying to offer, but they don't even know how a way in. So again, we can see exactly what this is in the collective, right? In just in terms of how there's a lot of community, there's a lot of support for Palestine right now, um, especially, but there are blockades, right? There's actual like um, it's not easy to get that support in there. But there is that support there that wants to come through somehow, that wants to find a way. Um, and this is genuine collaboration, genuine partnership, community. It's heartfelt love. It really is. Um, and I want us to know that, of course, it's like, yes, we can very easily see what this is about on the collective scale, but what feels very important in this message is that like this is in your body too, personally, and you have something in you that feels like this in your own personal experience, and that was has been made very clear to me just in terms of like the part of me that feels like this and that has genuinely experienced a level of disrespect and injustice and has been unwelcome in places that are supposed to be my home. And um and it's very much resonant with this is a message that's going to be very much resonant with people's personal experiences, and it feels very important to say like this is in you, you know and as quantum whispering, often what will happen in these types of readings is that I will either invite an ancestor to come through and speak, um, or one will just come in. And so right now, an ancestor is coming in, and it's Mother Earth. It's like the planet herself, Earth, as an ancestor, because I consider all the planets our ancestors, and they are because they have sovereign, they have a sovereign spirit and presence. So the Earth is coming through, and what she really want, and this is something that she really wants to, the Earth really wants to give us this message that this live wire, it's in you. And I wrote a poem recently, kind of prayer, um, incantation, whatever you want to call it, for land back and for free Palestine. And one of the things that I sort of said in this poem is that, we live in one body, right? The earth, she's just the earth, and we're all inside of her body. And so if there's a pain in our personal body, that pain is also somewhere on the planet in our collective body. And if there's a pain somewhere in the collective body, it's also in us. So that's one of the lines that I said in my poem, is like the pain in you is Palestine. Um, but it's also like what she's also saying is that every part of the body is hurting. there is not one part of the body, her body, that has not been touched by colonization and by these genocidal activities and these genocidal energies, whether the genocide is very obvious or it's a more subtle, slow burn. There's not one part of her body that hasn't been touched by this. And what she's saying is that every part of the body, every part of the body has a story that will break your heart. Every part of the body has a story that will break your heart. And that's about your body too. Every part of your body, like there's somewhere in your body that has a story that will break your heart, and maybe every part of it, somewhere in there, there's a story that will break your heart. Um, and so she's saying that like when we are able to look at that live wire in our own heart, in our own body, and tend to it, and if we are able to somehow hold it, embrace it, go on a journey with it, grieve with it, heal with it, that's what we need to harness. And that's where the love and the purpose and the passion, that's where it comes from. Our contribution, our life, once we learn to live from that place, if we can harness that and put that back into the community, back into the land, back through our whole bodies, that is our most powerful contribution and most powerful. Like, if we can do that as a collective, then we can make a serious dent and intervention and transmutation. We can be a force much more than we are right now. We can be a collective force to heal and transmute this, widespread genocide and this pain that's happening all over the body. But, she's saying that, like, if we kind of bypass that, if we continue to look away from our own pain, um, that's kind of going to make that's not going to make the problem better. That is the problem in the first place, that something was in pain and we just turned away. You know what I mean? And we looked away. um so there's something really important here about being able to look at that within yourself and harness it with love, and let that move through your entire body, and kind of just like that breathing exercise, let it move through into the core of the earth up to your north star, and let that guide you forward. um yeah, because also it's not like that part of you isn't disconnected from what's happening, for example, in Palestine. Even if you don't really see the connections, it's like, oh, that experience of mine, it is absolutely connected. And so if I heal this, I'm also helping to heal the whole. Okay, so yeah, just looking at my notes, that personal level, there are part of you that experience some real disrespect. And it is worth saying that, like, there was a blockade. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just like, oh, why didn't you just ask for support? Because there was a blockade. There was actual real injustice there that at this point has not yet been healed. And it's not just about you. It's like a lot of things have to change in the community. A lot of things have to change in the collective, and the collective needs to be able to reckon with certain things within itself in order to support that part of you. We all have something like that. Maybe we have to go really deep to find what that is, but we all have something like that. And so when I'm looking at this live wire, I'm an energy healer, right? So I'm like, well, how can I just go in and fix it? And it's like, well, that's not actually possible right now, because there's systemic, cultural, societal, social emotional, interpersonal, ancestral, energetic blockades there. And so really though, what this is about, it's not a doom and gloom thing. It's saying something really beautiful, actually, that in order to heal this part of yourself, there's certain things that you can't just go in and energetically fix it and then it's fine. Some things you can do that with, but some things you can only heal by living. There's some wounds that you can only heal by living. It's like you can, for example, a bad relationship, you can, or a series of bad relationships, you can go in and do all the spiritual healing, and that part is really important, and you can do a lot of stuff on your own. But there's a point where you actually have to go out and forge other relationships, and and learn how to heal that in relationship with other people through embodied experiences over time. So that's really what we're looking at here, is that this is really something that can only be healed through commitment, through opening up to a life experience, a new life experience, opening up to a new way of life, trying, doing it imperfectly, and learning to live again in a new way. And step one right now is to not turn away from it, is to speak up, advocate, speak up for yourself, speak for your heart, speak from your heart, um, speak your truth, and speak, ultimately what really calms that wire down right now is for you to be able to do that from a place of self-respect and be respected in return and be heard and be loved and appreciated, um, even if not by everyone, but by a large group of people, by a solid group of people, by a genuine group of people. And you know what? Like, when even as I say there's a blockade around the support, there is, but I don't see any actual physical material there when I'm looking at the live wire energetically. It's just open space. It's just open space. So that tells me that this is showing itself to us right now because the conditions in the collective are finally clear enough for us to really start offering this part of the body real, genuine, long lasting support. It is a journey. It's not going to be fixed like this, but if we weren't ready to start supporting this part of the body, collectively and personally, it wouldn't be showing itself. It's showing itself because we're ready. And that I want you to understand on a personal level as well, that there is support. The part of you, and I'm saying this to myself too, it's like the part of you that's like, nobody cares. I'm always going to be unwelcome in this way. I'm always going to be disrespected. There's no other way. It's like, they're there. I promise you, they're there. It's there. Whatever it is that that part of you doesn't know how to believe in, it's there. It's just a journey. And part of it is opening up and being honest about like what it is, about the truth, about the pain, about what you need. It's about turning to that. So I want to turn back to talking to our ancestor, Mother Earth, Gaia, Pachamama, um, beloved planet, home. She has some stuff to say. And this part I want to return to, that everyone has a story that will break your heart. Everyone has a story that will break your heart, that is deeply connected to everything that's going on in this collective moment. And even the most fascist, racist, like capitalist warmongering elite go deep enough. And this is, from the Earth's perspective, she like she really wants to communicate this right now around, like, she's our mother. You know, you don't have to think about it in a gendered term if you don't want to, but she houses us. She provides for us. She's our home. And the thing about her is that she's like, okay, say you adopt a child or an animal, and then that child and animal just is violent and is going around hurting everyone and is just acting up all over the place. She's like, as a parent, at some point you have to ask yourself, like, what happened to you? What happened to that child? What happened to you that you're acting like this? Um, what happened to you? What's that story that's going to break my heart once I hear it? Once I really know what happened to you? And I want us to really think about the complexity of her motherhood, her parenting, of what it's like to have a child or many children that are abusing her other children and are abusing her. What it's like to have children who are intensely violent towards others, toward her, and ultimately towards themselves. And what it's like to be that kind of parent and still not stop loving them. That's a really, really complicated experience of motherhood. To have a violent child who is violent to you and you still never stop loving them. She really wants to communicate that and have that come across because she's asking those questions. She, as a parent, is sitting back and like, what happened to you? What happened to you? What are those stories? And you, as in, she in some ways considers each species a one, right? So when she's like, what happened to you as humans? You are all one species. You are one family. What happened to you? That this is what humans do and what humans have co-created. She's asking those questions. So I'm asking those questions with her. And that's a part of my personal purpose, in this, age 39, almost 40. I guess I'm not almost 40. I'm still 39 and a half. But, I'm asking those questions. I'm asking those big questions, like what happened to us? And as a quantum whisperer, I'm asking the dinosaurs. I'm asking the Earth. I'm looking at her history, her galactic history. I'm looking at someone, a body who has gone through multiple mass extinctions in her history. I'm asking interdimensional, galactic memory. I'm asking animals. I'm asking, her neighbors, which are the planets. Right? Those are her best friends. Those are her neighbors, her inner circle, her friends. The planets that we call astrology, the zodiac signs, the planets, the sun, the moon, like these are all the Earth's inner circle, the ones who know her the best, aside from how she knows herself, right? So I'm asking them, and I have been asking them for a long time. Um, and this thing around what happened to you, it's not something that can be answered in a sentence. This is why Otherworldly Giants is about storytelling, because these kinds of really big questions can only be answered by millions of stories. We can only look at them from millions of different angles and see what we understand when we all collectively come together and open up to these questions. Um, and that's an important thing that I want to, talk about stories as well. It's and because it has links to what we need to understand about this moment, is that a story is never meant to give you an answer. A story is supposed to open you up. It's supposed to change you and move you and open up possibilities. Um, and so I'm saying this because we're all kind of here looking for answers, right? About how do we get out of this mess that we're in. Um, and there isn't an answer in a sentence, right? That's important to understand. It is, again, about committing to coming home to a way of life that dismantles and creates at the same time. This is about committing to a way of life that can heal itself over time. So when we're looking at 2024, we're really looking at seeding those commitments. You personally, what are your personal commitments that that is committing to a way of life that can heal yourself over time? The parts of yourself that have been disrespected and unwelcome and in pain, and now finally have the chance to receive the support that it needs. What is the way of life that you can commit to that will heal that over time? And then we put that all back into the collective, and we do that as a collective, right? So that's what I'm doing with Otherworldly Giants, right? Through stories and storytelling, and not just through my company, but also to support and uplift and collaborate with other artists and writers who are engaging their own commitment through their storytelling and their work and their sacred entrepreneurships and just the creativity that we also need to share from our hearts right now too. And I think that is part of how the live wire can de-escalate, is through our own creativity and through connecting to our own fire, um, and really honoring that, the and where the honoring where it comes from, that pain, the grief, the passion, the purpose. um, So for me, that is stories. Because what stories do, like I said, is that they open things up and they help give us, they inspire us and they move us. And if you know what you're doing, you can also create stories that have beautiful ancestral teachings in them. You can infuse them with ancestral medicine, with liberating healing technologies from the galaxies, from Mama Earth herself. You can learn how to do energy healing work through your stories. And that's what Otherworldly Giants is all about. And that's really what I want to uplift and bring forward in my own work, and show the world like what this is, and support others in doing who are doing the same or similar things, or who want to learn. Um, Yeah, because these stories that we will be creating, and whether it's stories through very specific projects or even just through our way of life, like I said, right? An artistry that we wield to live our lives, and create art just through our bodies and how we move through the world. These are the ways that will help us like open up to this new way of life more and more and more. And that's how we dismantle, and that's how we end up, in a place where we can free Palestine until it's backwards. That's how we dismantle capitalism until it's backwards, right? It's this opening work and this committing work. So, yeah, a deeply heartfelt way of living. And for many of us, it'll be a ceremonial way of living, with the planet, that we ache and yearn to return home to. I know I do. And this is a thing, right? Like, you can't say to a story, tell me the answer. The story is be like, I don't know. Like, that's not what my technology is. I don't give answers like that. And that's important to note here, I think, because we get that response, when we talk about abolition or land back or even dismantling capitalism. People are like, well, how would that actually work? Give us the answer. And we're just like, well, like this can only be received. There are very specific, deep, deep teachings and deep like strategies and intergenerational wisdoms that come with how you do this and how you forge this way of life. But it's not about like giving you answers in this moment in a sentence. You know what I mean? It is on so many levels about opening up to those teachings and living them, and watching the mystery unfold and allowing yourself to be a strong embodied part of that unfolding, and an active participant in that unfolding. Because it's sort of like, it's like a partnership, right? You're like, if you want to get married to someone, you can't be like, well, tell me what it's going to be like in 20 years. Give me that answer, and then I'll decide if I want to commit to you today. It doesn't work like that, right? um, if you know that you love someone that much, it's about, like, I commit to you today, even if, and I commit to loving you forever. And even if what our relationship looks like next week is radically different than what I could have imagined today. Um, and I have those commitments to movements like Land Back, to free Palestine, to free Africa, to free Turtle Island, to free all of the land, to free the water, to free the whales, to free all of the animals, to free the trees, the plants, the mountains. Like, I have that commitment to everybody, and that is something I have that commitment to my own body. I have that commitment to my own life. I have that commitment to myself and why I was born, to the life that I was meant to live here. Um, and it's like I have that commitment for life, even if tomorrow I completely rearrange my definitions and practices of what love is. You know, that's part of that commitment. Um, yes, my heart's commitment to life, to my life, to all of life, to this life. So, with that, I want to end with offering a space for us to invite in what that heart's commitment is for you specifically. Um, so, what I want to end with is just another breathing exercise. And so, what I want to do is you can close your eyes again if you want to, and we'll invite the spirit of your personal heart's commitment into your body and or into the world, into your energy field. Um, and we'll just invite it in however it shows up. It doesn't have to be in words. It might be, but you might receive it as a feeling, a frequency. You might hear a song. You might see an animal or another ancestor or an element. You might see a color. It'll come to you however it'll come to you. And it might come in symbols and signs too. So you might understand right away what that symbol means, or you might not understand it. If you don't understand it, it means that it's something that will continue to be unlocked. And, next week or 3 months from now, you'll be like, oh my God, I know what that means. And then a year from now, you'll be like, oh, I really know what that means. So that's what this means, to invite something in that's going to be unlocked. Um, so let's just take a few deep breaths. Let's take 6 deep breaths again and just like invite that spirit of your heart's commitment back into your body. Welcome it home. Okay, let's go. Breath one. Breath two. Breath three. 4. 5. And one more. Thank you. Thank you for receiving. Thank you for being present, for listening. Um, One last thing that I feel called to say. Uh, if you need support, ask for support. You deserve and are worthy of support for what you're going through if you need it. And your heart's commitment is worthy of support. And you're worthy of collective support. And so am I. We all are. And I want to thank all the beautiful ancestors who came through this transmission and shared their wisdom with me to share with you, especially our beloved home, our planet, Mama Earth, Pachamama, Mama Gaia. And thank you to water, thank you to fire, thank you to all the elements, thank you to the trees, thank you to everyone, all my beloved relations, because I could go on and on with naming everyone. Thank you to everyone. um, I have some very limited spots for one-on-one readings. So I've opened up my schedule to offer some people 2024 divination readings for your personal heart's commitment. Um, if you want some personal guidance from me and want to sit with me in that one-on-one kind of container, I have a few spots open, and they are really limited. So I'm sure they're not going to work for everyone. How I've set up the container, but I opened up a few spots, and just, like one-on-one readings are not really my priority or where my heart and focus need to be right now, but I do have some space for it, and I wanted to open up a little bit of space for it. And I might open up some more spots later in December. So if you look at the calendar and there's no spots there, you can just always check back. And I'm in a little bit of a no guarantees place with it, where I'm like, I might offer them in the future again if it calls to me, but kind of no guarantees of that, because I have like other courses that I'm putting out, and I have other things that I want to share with the collective, that involve kind of more like group kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, it's just like it's not really my focus technology anymore, is the one-on-one stuff, but I do have a little bit of space. So if you really want a reading with me, um, please check the link. I'll put the link below, in below this video, and I'm gonna send it through my email list. So sign up for my email list if you want to be, updated on when I offer different things, because I will be sharing more offerings, a lot more actually, over the next few months. So I'll be out and about. And yeah, I'm not sure how quickly these one-on-one things will will fill up, but they might fill up pretty quickly. So if you know that you want a reading from me, please jump on that as soon as you can. And yeah, I guess lastly, just a request if you really appreciated this video and it was helpful for you, please share it with someone who you think might also benefit from it, or who might be looking for something like this. You can share it with a million people if you want. You can post it on social media or whatever. I'm good with that. Um, or you can share it with just one person. But, if you appreciated this video and you can think of somebody who might also appreciate it, I would really appreciate that in return for you to share it. So that's, I think, all for me. And if you stay tuned to my channel, you will hear from me shortly again. Peace.